Welcome to the Boring Podcast. Tonight we'll calmly talk through something that happened, perhaps, or didn't. If this helps you drift off, we've done our job. Feel free to do nothing at all.
Yes, indeed. Doing nothing at all sounds quite appealing right now. In fact, I've been doing quite a bit of nothing all day, and this evening seems like a perfect continuation of that theme. We'll be discussing something rather ordinary, something you might encounter every day without a second thought. Something like a faucet aerator. Just the phrase itself, faucet aerator, induces a certain calmness, don't you think?
A faucet aerator. Yes, that's a good one. A topic ripe with unexciting potential. I mean, it's not something you'd typically discuss at a party, is it? Unless it's a very, very specific kind of party. And even then, it would probably be a brief conversation. A very brief conversation. More of a comment, really. Perhaps just a shared glance at the faucet, then back to the, whatever is happening. Probably not much.
Not much at all. And that's perfectly fine. We're not here for excitement. We're here for the opposite of excitement, the absence of excitement, the quiet contemplation of the mundane. And what could be more mundane than a small, unassuming metal screen screwed onto the end of your faucet? It sits there, day in, day out, doing its job, unnoticed, unappreciated. A silent workhorse of the kitchen sink. Or the bathroom sink. Or the utility sink. Wherever it may be.
Wherever it may be, indeed. It's just there. Existing. Being a faucet aerator. Not making a fuss. Not drawing attention to itself. A small, often overlooked component of modern plumbing. We turn on the faucet, water comes out. We rarely think about the journey of that water, the various stages it passes through before reaching our hands. Or our glass. Or the dishes. The aerator is a part of that often ignored journey. A small, but important part. Perhaps.
It's easy to take these things for granted, isn't it? The flow of water, the aerator that shapes that flow. We just expect it to be there, doing its thing. We don't question it. We don't analyze it. We turn the handle, and water comes out. Simple, efficient, boring. And that's precisely what we're aiming for here. Pure, unadulterated boredom. A gentle descent into the realm of the unremarkable. The faucet aerator. A perfect vehicle for this journey.
A perfect vehicle. Exactly. We could talk about the different types of aerators, the different flow rates, the different spray patterns. The variations are subtle, almost imperceptible. But they are there. Oh yes, they are there. Waiting to be explored. In excruciating detail. Over a considerable amount of time, slowly, methodically, we will dissect the world of the faucet aerator. And hopefully, in the process, you, our dear listener, will drift off to a peaceful, uneventful sleep.
And if you don't drift off, well, that's perfectly fine too. You'll at least have gained a comprehensive, albeit entirely unnecessary, understanding of the humble faucet aerator. You'll be able to identify different types, perhaps. You'll be able to discuss the nuances of their design with, well, probably no one. But the knowledge will be there, residing within you. Quietly, unexceptionally, like a faucet aerator.
Like a faucet aerator. Precisely. So, let's begin, shall we? Let's embark on this tedious yet strangely compelling exploration of the faucet aerator, a journey into the heart of the ordinary. A deep dive into the shallow end of the plumbing world. Less than / person one greater than. Less than person one greater than. We were talking about faucet aerators, those little mesh screens at the end of your faucet. They're usually made of metal, sometimes plastic, and they have a lot of tiny holes. Many, many tiny holes. And these holes, they're not just randomly placed, They're arranged in a specific pattern, often a circular pattern, or sometimes a grid-like arrangement. The purpose, the main purpose, is to mix air with the water. And why do we do this? We do this to create a smoother flow. Less splashing. It's also meant to conserve water, which is a good thing. We'll talk more about that later, perhaps, in another part of this series. But for now, just imagine these tiny holes, all arranged in a specific way.
These little screens, the aerators, they screw onto the faucet. You just twist them on. Lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. That's how it usually works. Though sometimes they can be a bit stiff. You might need a tool, like pliers, but be careful not to scratch the finish. The finish could be chrome, brushed nickel, or even brass. Many different finishes exist, each with its own unique look. And they can get dirty, these aerators. Dust and debris can accumulate, clogging those tiny holes. And when that happens, the water flow can be affected. Imagine all that buildup in those tiny, tiny holes.
We talked about the holes, the tiny holes, and how they mix air with the water. This mixing creates a softer, gentler stream of water. Less splash, less mess, think about it. The water coming out without an aerator, it can be quite harsh. A strong, concentrated stream. But with the aerator, the water becomes aerated, like a bubbly, effervescent flow. Not bubbly like soda, of course. More like a diffused flow. The kind of flow you'd want for washing your hands or rinsing dishes. It's gentler on your hands, you see.
The aerator, as we mentioned, screws onto the faucet. There's a threaded part on the faucet and a corresponding threaded part on the aerator. They screw together, creating a secure seal. Sometimes there's a washer involved, a small rubber ring, to help with the sealing process. This prevents leaks. Leaks are undesirable, of course. Nobody wants a leaky faucet. Drip, drip, drip. It can be quite annoying. And wasteful, too. We'll talk about water conservation later, perhaps. But for now, just think about that tight seal, preventing those drips.
The aerator is a small but significant part of the faucet. It might seem insignificant, this small piece with tiny holes, but it plays a crucial role. It affects the water flow, the feel of the water, and even the sound of the water. The sound of running water can be quite soothing, actually. A gentle, white noise kind of sound. But that's a topic for another podcast, perhaps. For now, let's just focus on the aerator and its function, the mixing of air and water.
We talked about cleaning the aerator. You can unscrew it, as mentioned, lefty-loosey, righty-tighty. And then you can soak it in vinegar. White vinegar is usually recommended. This helps dissolve any mineral deposits or debris. It's a simple process, but an important one. Because a clean aerator performs better. It allows for optimal water flow and aeration. Just imagine all that gunk coming out of those tiny holes.
They come in different sizes, these aerators. Not all faucets are the same, so not all aerators are the same. You need to get the right size for your faucet. Too small, and it won't fit. Too large, and it won't seal properly. It's a matter of matching the threads. The threads on the aerator to the threads on the faucet. It's a simple concept, really. Just matching the threads. But it's important to get it right.
Soaking the aerator in vinegar, as we discussed, helps remove mineral deposits. These deposits can build up over time, especially in areas with hard water. Hard water contains high levels of minerals, like calcium and magnesium. These minerals can leave behind residue, clogging the aerator's tiny holes. And as we've discussed, those tiny holes are crucial for proper aeration. So regular cleaning is important. Soaking, rinsing, and then reinstalling. A simple but effective maintenance routine.
As we were saying, these small, often unnoticed, mesh screens screwed onto the tip of your faucet, these little things, the aerators, they can, in their own quiet way, influence the stream coming out of your faucet. They mix air with the water, and that's why they're called aerators. Air and water. A simple combination, yet it impacts the feel of the water, the splash, even the sound. Imagine filling a glass with an aerator and then without. Two different experiences, separated by a small, unassuming mesh screen. It's quite something to ponder if you have the time, and if not, that's quite all right too. We can ponder it for you. It's really not that exciting either way.
Yes, the aerator. It sits there, at the end of your faucet, almost invisible. You might not even know it's there, doing its job, day in, day out, mixing air with the water. And what a job it does. Silently altering the flow, reducing splashing, conserving water, perhaps. We've talked about these benefits, but it's worth repeating, because it's not like there's anything else pressing to discuss. This small screen can make a difference. A subtle difference, but a difference nonetheless. It just sits there, silently aerating, a quiet champion of efficient water flow. It's quite remarkable, in its own unremarkable way.
These aerators, they come in different flow rates. We've touched on this, but it bears repeating. A lower flow rate saves water, which is good for the environment, and good for your water bill, though the savings might be small. Small but present. Like the aerator itself, a higher flow rate gives you more water, faster. The choice is yours, depending on your needs or preferences. Or perhaps you don't have a preference. That's fine too. It's just water flow after all. Not a particularly thrilling topic, even for us.
Choosing the right flow rate is something to consider. Low flow for saving, high flow for, well, more flow. It's a trade-off, a balance, like so many things in life. We've said this before, haven't we? Yes, we have. But repetition can be soothing, can't it? Like the steady, even flow of water from a well-aerated faucet. So, consider your needs. Consider the environment. Consider the water bill. Or don't. It's really up to you.
Now, about cleaning these aerators, we've mentioned this, of course. Mineral deposits can build up. Calcium, lime, things like that. They impede the flow, disrupt the aeration. It's a gradual process, slow and almost imperceptible, like the passing of time itself. So, you should soak them in vinegar. White vinegar, generally. This helps dissolve the deposits. We've covered this, yes, but it's important. Or maybe not important, depending on your perspective.
Soaking the aerator, a simple act of maintenance. We've discussed this at length, I believe. Vinegar, a common household item. It works wonders on those mineral deposits, breaks them down, clears the way for optimal aeration. It's a process, a slow and steady process, much like this podcast, really. Just a quiet, unhurried process. You let it soak. You rinse it off, and the water flows freely once more. A small victory in the grand scheme of things.
And once you've cleaned your aerator, you screw it back on. Lefty-loosey, righty-tighty, as the saying goes. A simple twist, and it's back in place, silently aerating your water, doing its job. Unnoticed, unappreciated, perhaps, but doing it nonetheless. A small, unsung hero of the plumbing world. And that's about it, really. Not much more to say on the topic. Unless you want to hear it all again.
Yes, screwing it back on. A final turn, and the process is complete. The aerator is back in its rightful place, ready to aerate, to mix air with water, to create that smooth, splash-free stream. We've covered all of this, I believe, but perhaps it's worthwhile to reiterate these points, just in case. Just to fill the silence, to occupy the time, to help you drift off, if that's what you're looking for. And if not, well, that's perfectly fine too.
Now, regarding these faucet aerators, sometimes, and I mean sometimes, you might notice a slight, almost imperceptible, change in the water pressure after installation. It's not always noticeable, mind you, and it might not even be related to the aerator itself. It could be the pipes, or perhaps even the water main down the street. One time, I thought my water pressure changed, but it turned out I was just holding the glass at a slightly different angle. It's easy to overthink these things, to attribute changes to something specific, when it could just be the normal ebb and flow, so to speak, of water pressure. Anyway, if you do notice a change, it's usually a slight decrease, nothing dramatic, just a tiny bit less forceful.
Yes, and speaking of slight changes, have you ever noticed how the ambient light in a room seems to shift ever so subtly throughout the day? It's not something you actively perceive, not unless you're really paying attention, but it's there. The way the shadows lengthen and shorten, the way the dust motes dance in the air, it's all very gradual. Sometimes I find myself staring at a wall, just watching the way the light plays across it. It's quite mesmerizing, in a very understated way, and it makes me think about how even the most static things are constantly changing, even if we don't always notice it. Like the water pressure, perhaps, or the way a faucet aerator can subtly alter the flow of water.
Exactly. Subtle changes. Sometimes you notice them, sometimes you don't. It's like when you rearrange the furniture in a room. At first, it feels very different, very noticeable. But then after a while, you get used to it, and it becomes the new normal. The same could be said for the feel of the water coming out of the faucet after installing a new aerator. You might notice it at first, but then you get used to it, and it becomes the new baseline. And then, perhaps months later, you replace the aerator again, and the cycle repeats itself. It's all very cyclical, in a way.
Cycles. Yes, everything is cyclical. Day and night, the seasons, the tides. Even the way we replace our faucet aerators. Speaking of which, there are different types of aerators, aren't there? I seem to recall seeing some that have multiple flow settings, or perhaps I'm misremembering. It could have been a different plumbing fixture altogether. Sometimes I get these things mixed up in my head. It's all a bit of a blur, if I'm honest. But I think I saw one once that had a little lever on the side for adjusting the flow.
They do indeed. There are aerators with adjustable settings, although they're not as common as the standard fixed flow type. These adjustable ones allow you to fine-tune the stream from a gentle spray to a more concentrated jet. It's a matter of personal preference, really. Some people prefer a softer flow, others a more forceful one. And then there are those who don't have a strong preference either way, which is perfectly understandable. It's just water, after all.
Water. Yes, just water. We take it for granted, don't we? Turning on the tap and expecting it to be there. It's a modern marvel, really. Plumbing, I mean. A complex network of pipes and valves, bringing water into our homes and carrying it away again. It's quite remarkable when you think about it. And yet, we rarely do. We just use it, without a second thought. Until something goes wrong, of course. Then it becomes the center of our attention.
Precisely. We only notice it when it's not working. Like the faucet aerator. We don't really think about it until it gets clogged or starts spraying water everywhere. Then suddenly, it becomes very important. And we realize how much we rely on these small, unassuming devices to regulate the flow of water in our lives. They're quite essential, in their own quiet way. Like the silent guardians of our sinks and showers.
Silent guardians. I like that. It's a good way to think about them. Standing watch over our water flow, ensuring a smooth and even stream. Protecting us from splashes and sprays. And all they ask in return is a little occasional cleaning. It's a small price to pay for such a valuable service. And speaking of cleaning, have you ever noticed how satisfying it is to clean a really dirty faucet aerator? Seeing all the grime and mineral deposits come off.
Yes, the satisfaction of a clean aerator. A small victory in the ongoing battle against household grimes. It's a feeling of accomplishment, a sense of order restored, a tiny, gleaming testament to our dedication to cleanliness. And all it takes is a little bit of vinegar and a toothbrush. A simple act with tangible results. It's the little things, isn't it? The small, everyday tasks that bring a sense of quiet satisfaction, like cleaning a faucet aerator, or organizing a drawer, or folding a pile of laundry. These are the things that make up the fabric of our lives. Less than, / person one, greater than. Less than, person one, greater than. So we were talking about faucet aerators, those little mesh screens at the end of your faucet, remember? They're usually screwed on, or sometimes they just pop in, depending on the model. And they're designed to mix air with the water, which, can save water. That's important. Saving water. Not just for the environment, though that's a part of it, certainly. But also, it can save a little bit of money on your water bill. Not a lot, mind you, but it adds up. Like pennies in a jar, eventually. Or like sand on a beach, building up grain by grain. So, yes, faucet aerators. They're not glamorous, but they're there, working away, quietly. Saving water, one drop at a time. Or so they say.
Yes, the faucet aerator. A small, unassuming device, often overlooked. Yet, it plays a crucial role in our daily lives, even if we don't realize it. It's there, at the end of the faucet, mixing air with the water stream. This process, as we discussed, creates a more even, gentler flow. A less splashy experience, one might say. It's about the small comforts, isn't it? The little things that make life just a bit more pleasant. And it saves water, which, as you mentioned, is important. For the environment, yes, of course. But also for our wallets. Small savings here and there. It all adds up, doesn't it? Like collecting rainwater in a barrel. Drop by drop. Filling it up slowly over time.
Right. The gentler flow. It's not just about splashing less, although that's certainly a benefit. Nobody likes a wet countertop, after all. It's also about the feel of the water. The aerated stream feels softer, somehow. Less harsh. More like rain, perhaps. Or maybe like a gentle spring. A very small, controlled spring. And we talked about how they can help reduce water usage. Which is a good thing. Saving water is a good habit to get into. Like turning off the lights when you leave a room, or recycling. Small actions, but they make a difference. Eventually. Over time.
And remember how we talked about the different types? There are the ones you screw on, the ones that just pop in, and some even have little swivels. A swiveling kind can be quite handy for rinsing dishes, directing the water exactly where you need it. It's all about control, isn't it? Having control over the water stream. Directing it precisely. Not just letting it splash haphazardly all over the sink. And of course, they come in different flow rates too, which is another way to control the water usage. Saving water, drop by drop. Like filling a small teacup, one drop at a time.
Different flow rates? Yes, we covered that. Some are designed for lower flow, to save even more water. And some are higher flow, for when you need a bit more pressure. It depends on your needs, really. What you're using the water for. Washing dishes, brushing your teeth, filling a glass. Different tasks require different flow rates. It's about finding the right balance between water usage and water pressure, a delicate equilibrium. Like a seesaw, perfectly balanced.
We also discussed how they can sometimes get clogged with mineral deposits, especially in areas with hard water. Those little mesh screens can trap tiny bits of sediment, and over time it can build up and restrict the flow. It's like a slow, gradual process, like a river slowly depositing silt over centuries, building up layer by layer. Eventually, it can become quite significant.
Clogged aerators. Yes. We talked about cleaning them. Soaking them in vinegar can often loosen the mineral deposits. It's a simple process, really. Just unscrew the aerator, soak it in vinegar, and then rinse it clean. Like brewing a cup of tea. Steeping the tea leaves in hot water. Extracting the flavor slowly.
Soaking them in vinegar. Yes, that's a good method. White vinegar, specifically. It's a natural way to dissolve those mineral deposits. A gentle yet effective solution, like the slow, steady erosion of a rock by the wind and rain over millennia, gradually wearing it down, smoothing its edges.
Now, regarding these aerators, sometimes, often actually, they have this mesh screen. It's a small, fine mesh, like a tiny net made of metal, usually metal, or sometimes plastic. It's there, existing, placed within the aerator structure, and it serves a purpose. A small one, but a purpose nonetheless. It catches, so to speak. It catches the bits, little bits of sediment, mineral deposits, things like that. Things that might otherwise flow out of the faucet and into your glass of water. Not large things, mind you, but small things. Tiny particles. It stops them, this mesh. Just imagine, tiny particles being stopped. So, that's the mesh screen's role, its function, its reason for being there inside the aerator.
And the placement of this mesh screen, it's intentional, of course. It's not just randomly placed within the aerator. There's a design to it. It's usually positioned near the outflow, the place where the water exits the aerator. This allows it, the mesh, to effectively catch those aforementioned particles, those bits, before they have a chance to, exit the aerator. Think about it. Water flowing, particles flowing, mesh intercepting. It's a process, a very small, uneventful process, but a process nonetheless. It's happening, or perhaps it has already happened, or will happen. This placement, this strategic placement of the mesh within the aerator, it matters. It's a detail, a small detail, but a detail.
Yes, and these particles, these bits of stuff, they accumulate over time. Slowly, gradually, they gather on the mesh screen. Not quickly, no, but slowly. They build up, these tiny, almost imperceptible particles. And this buildup, this gradual accumulation, can eventually affect the flow of water, the stream coming from the faucet. It might slow it down, reduce the pressure, you see. Imagine water flowing, and then less water flowing. It's a subtle change, often barely noticeable at first, but a change nonetheless. It's a consequence, a result of the particles accumulating. It's a thing that happens.
And this reduced flow, this diminished stream of water, it's a sign, an indication that perhaps, possibly, maybe, the aerator needs cleaning. Cleaning the aerator involves, several steps, each of which we'll cover in detail later. But the point is, the slowing water flow can be a prompt, a subtle nudge, suggesting that cleaning might be necessary, or at least beneficial. It's not urgent, this cleaning, not a pressing matter, but something to consider, something to perhaps do eventually, when the time is right, or when the flow becomes too slow, or not. It's a choice, really.
Cleaning, yes. Cleaning involves removing the aerator, which is a process in itself. A slow, methodical process. We'll delve into that later, of course. But for now, just imagine removing the aerator. Unscrewing it, slowly, carefully. It's a simple action, really. A twist, a turn. But it's a necessary step in the cleaning process, a precursor to the actual cleaning. Just a twist, a slow, deliberate twist. And then, it's off. Removed. Ready for cleaning.
Imagine the aerator detached, separate from the faucet. It sits there, waiting to be cleaned. It's a passive object, this aerator, playing its role in the plumbing system, in the flow of water. It sits, it waits, it exists. And now, detached, it awaits cleaning, a simple cleaning. Nothing too dramatic, just a cleaning. Soaking perhaps, rinsing perhaps, a gentle scrubbing perhaps. Nothing too strenuous, just a simple, quiet cleaning.
We'll discuss the specifics of cleaning in a later segment, in detail of course, but for now, just imagine holding the aerator, feeling its weight, its small, insignificant weight. It's a tangible object, something you can hold, something you can clean. It exists in the physical world, this small, unassuming aerator. It's there, it's real, it's waiting.
Waiting to be reattached. After cleaning, of course. Reattachment. Another slow, methodical process. Screwing it back on. A simple twist, a reversal of the removal process. Just aligning the threads, turning, tightening. A slow, deliberate action. And then, it's back in place. Reattached. Ready to aerate. Ready to perform its function. Quietly. Unobtrusively. Just aerating.
We've been talking about faucet aerators, these small, often unnoticed yet integral parts of our sinks. They mix air with water, creating a smoother, less splashy stream. It's a simple concept, really. Water comes out, air gets mixed in, and it feels softer. I suppose you could say it's like a little massage for your hands as you wash them, or perhaps not. It's a rather passive experience, not unlike watching paint dry, or perhaps observing a very slow-moving snail on a particularly uneventful Tuesday afternoon. One could even say it's almost nothing. Yet this small change, this subtle aeration, makes a difference. Or maybe it doesn't. It depends, really. On what, you might ask? Well, that's a good question. A very good question indeed. Perhaps we'll explore that later. Or perhaps not.
Yes, the nuances of faucet aerators are often overlooked. We turn on the tap, water flows, and we seldom consider the journey of that water, the intricate dance between water and air facilitated by this small, unassuming device. It's a bit like breathing, isn't it? We rarely think about each breath, the intake of oxygen, the exhale of carbon dioxide. It just happens. And so it is with the aerator, it's just a thing. It exists, silently performing its function, day in and day out. We take it for granted, this small, mesh-like component. But it's there. Always there, unless it's not. In which case, you might notice. Or you might not. It's a subtle thing, this aeration. A very subtle thing.
Subtlety. Yes, that's a good word for it. It's not a grand, sweeping change like a sudden downpour or a gust of wind. It's a quiet, almost imperceptible shift, a gentler flow, a softer touch. A slightly different sound, perhaps. A barely discernible alteration in the way the water feels on your skin. Or maybe not. It's easy to miss if you're not paying attention. And even if you are paying attention, it might still be difficult to pinpoint the exact difference. It's just there, like a faint background hum. A gentle whisper in the quiet of the night. Or the day. Whenever you happen to be using the faucet, really.
It makes one ponder the nature of small things. The seemingly insignificant details that make up the fabric of our existence. The way the light falls through the window, the sound of the clock ticking on the wall, the gentle hum of the refrigerator, these small, constant presences that we often filter out, yet they are always there, shaping our experience in subtle, almost imperceptible ways. Much like the aerator. It's a small thing, yet it's part of the larger tapestry of our lives. Or is it? Perhaps it's just a small piece of plastic with some mesh. It's hard to say, really.
Indeed. It's all a matter of perspective, isn't it? What seems significant to one person might be utterly inconsequential to another. A small change in water pressure might be a major event for someone focused on water conservation, while someone else might not even notice. We all have our own unique filters through which we perceive the world, our own individual lenses through which we interpret the constant stream of information that bombards us day in and day out. Or perhaps it's not a stream at all, but a gentle drip, like a leaky faucet, slowly, steadily dripping.
A leaky faucet, yes, that's a good analogy. A constant, almost imperceptible loss. A slow drain on resources. A subtle reminder of the impermanence of things. Even the smallest leak can eventually lead to significant problems if left unattended. Much like our thoughts, a small worry, a fleeting anxiety, can grow and fester if we don't address it. Or maybe not. Perhaps it will just evaporate, like a drop of water on a hot summer day. It's hard to say, really.
It is, isn't it? It's all so uncertain. The world is full of variables, of unknowns. We can try to control things, to predict outcomes, but ultimately, much of life is beyond our grasp. Like the flow of water, we can try to direct it, to channel it, but ultimately, it will find its own way. Just like our thoughts. They meander, they drift, they ebb and flow. Sometimes they're clear and focused. Other times they're murky and indistinct. Like a stream flowing into a vast, still lake. Slowly dissipating, becoming one with the stillness.
Stillness. Yes, that's a good word. A peaceful word. A word that evokes a sense of calm and tranquility. A sense of nothingness. A blank canvas. A quiet mind. A still pond reflecting the moon. Or the sun. Or the clouds. Or nothing at all. Just stillness. Perhaps that's what we're all searching for. A moment of peace. A moment of quiet. A moment of nothing.
Perhaps. Or perhaps not. It's hard to say, really. Less than / person one greater than, less than person one greater than, so, as we were saying, or perhaps not. These faucet aerators, small, generally unnoticed, yet present. Often metallic, sometimes plastic. Round, usually, with threads for screwing on, or perhaps screwing in. One might almost forget they're there, silently shaping the stream, aerating, as the name suggests. A subtle hum, perhaps, if one listens very, very closely, but more likely just the sound of running water, modified ever so slightly. And yet, they exist, these little mesh screens, diffusing the flow, impacting our daily interaction with water in the most minor of ways. One might say, almost imperceptibly. Yes, almost imperceptibly.
Imperceptible, yes, a good word. Or perhaps not. The way they mix the water with air, creating a softer, gentler stream, a less forceful expulsion from the faucet. It's something you might not even register consciously, but it's there. This mixing, this blending of water and air, so subtle, so seemingly insignificant. Yet there it is, happening every time you turn the handle. Every time the water flows, a silent process, largely unnoticed, yet playing a role, a small role, in our daily routines. One might ponder this, or not. The choice, as always, is yours. Or perhaps it isn't. One never knows.
One never knows indeed. And these different types, these variations on the theme of the aerator, some with laminar flow, some with more of a spray, some designed to conserve, others perhaps less so. The choices, the options, they can seem overwhelming, can't they? Or perhaps not. Perhaps they are barely noticeable, like the aerators themselves. Lost in the background noise of existence, the hum of daily life. One might spend hours considering the various flow rates, the different spray patterns, or one might simply choose the first one that comes to hand. It's a decision, like any other. Or perhaps it isn't.
A decision, yes, or perhaps a lack thereof. The way these small, unassuming devices can affect the overall experience of using a faucet, it's almost something. Almost something, but not quite. The slight variations in pressure, the subtle changes in the feel of the water on one's hands. These things, they matter. Or perhaps they don't. One could dedicate a significant portion of one's life to the study of faucet aerators. Or one could simply ignore them entirely. The world would continue to spin, regardless. Or perhaps it wouldn't. It's hard to say, really.
Hard to say indeed. And the maintenance, the occasional cleaning to remove mineral deposits, the subtle unscrewing, the gentle rinsing. Such a small task, so easily overlooked, yet necessary. Or perhaps not. The buildup, slow and gradual, almost imperceptible. Like the aerators themselves, almost hidden, almost forgotten. Until, of course, the flow is restricted, the stream diminished. Then, and only then, do they come to the forefront of our awareness. Briefly, momentarily, before fading back into the background once more.
Fading back, yes, into the almost imperceptible hum of existence, the quiet, constant presence of these small, often overlooked components of our daily lives. The faucet aerator, a silent participant in the mundane rituals of washing, rinsing, and cleaning. A small, unassuming device, yet one with a purpose, however small, however subtle. Or perhaps not. Perhaps it's all just a matter of perspective. Or perhaps it isn't. Optional. It's difficult to say with any certainty. One could ponder this endlessly, or not at all.
Endlessly, or not at all. Yes, that seems about right. The faucet aerator, a topic of endless fascination, or perhaps not. A subject worthy of hours of discussion, or perhaps mere moments of contemplation. Or perhaps even less than that, a fleeting thought. A momentary flicker of awareness, before being replaced by something else, something equally insignificant, equally mundane. Or perhaps not. One never truly knows.
One never truly knows. And perhaps that's the point. Or perhaps it isn't. The mystery of the faucet aerator, a mystery that may never be solved. Or perhaps it already has been. Perhaps the answer is right in front of us, hidden in plain sight. Or perhaps it's somewhere else entirely. Who can say, really? It's a question for the ages. Or perhaps just a question for a slow, uneventful evening. Like this one.
Thank you for joining us. Let go of the day and drift softly into rest. There's nothing more to do. Nothing more to think about. Just this moment. Just your breath. Just peace. Sleep well.
Good night and sweet dreams.